Okay, we passed an important date a couple days ago. The 1 year anniversary before the NHL Players Association can get out of the current collective bargaining agreement, which means let's just discuss it because it's interesting. Previous lockouts that have taken place have been lockouts. They haven't been strikes. There hasn't been a players' strike going back to 1994, and that was a very short strike before the playoffs. It was a warning shot, and it led to a lockout. So the players had a strike that lasted roughly a week, and then the NHL, since then, has gone on with lockout after lockout after lockout. We don't want a lockout. Nobody wants one. But I don't think the owners want one this time either. See, business is good. Business is really good. The NHL's making a lot of money. I think they're pretty happy. So let's get into what the potential sticking points are. And it starts and ends with escrow. Players are tired of escrow. So you look at the amount of money the guy's making, right? He makes $11 million a year. 11.5% of wages last year were held in escrow. There's no guarantee you're going to get that back. And if you do, there's no guarantee you're going to get the full percentage back. So, yes, hockey players make a lot of money. That's great. But if 11% of their wages are held, that means they didn't make that money either. And players are getting kind of tired of the escrow thing because they don't know how it's going to work until the end of the year, and they want there to be a cap on escrow, which apparently the NBA has. So working in their benefit is that the NHL does seem to like to do things the way the NBA does them. Olympic participation's a big one. The NHL offered the NHL offered Olympic participation and said, "Hey, you guys want to go to the Olympics? All right, well, let's go to the 2018 Olympics, but you have to vote to you have to agree to extend this contract we've got for another 3 years." The NHLPA said no. That's where this is different. NHL management came out and said, "Yeah, all right, we'll put the Olympics right in here." 3 years added to the agreement, meaning the NHL's pretty happy with the way things are. But players are not, which is why when you look at signing bonuses, to McDavid has a $12 million signing bonus the year that they're expecting a lockout. Tavares has an $11 million signing bonus. Signing bonuses are guaranteed, which is why 78 players currently show as $252 million in signing bonuses for the 2020-2021 season. $252 million is going to get paid out because that's lockout protected and strike protected. Now, working against our hope that there won't be a lockout is the NHL waits too long. There are no negotiations over this summer. We're 2 years out. We don't need to negotiate. That's not going to work. The NHL doesn't do that. So, because the NHL always waits till the very last minute, we usually end up with some kind of a prolonged argument that could have been settled by sitting down and talking beforehand. Maybe this time, because there's so much money on the line, they'll sit down and get it worked out. Now, the league has until September 1st of 2019 to say, we intend to end this agreement early in 2020. The NHL Players Association has until the 15th. So the owners can ignore that date and see if the players do it, or the owners can get out ahead of the game and say, oh, we're going to get out of this agreement. Now, if the NHLPA opts out, the NHLPA this time around could not be the ones complaining that they've been hard done by. And anytime that we have a lockout and some kind of a labor stoppage, both sides will try to play the pity card to the public, which is weird because you have millionaires arguing with billionaires. People aren't really going to feel bad for them, just like the escrow. People are not going to feel bad for players with $800,000 in escrow because they made $7.2 million outside of the escrow. So players will be in a very hard position to look like the good guys in any kind of a disagreement that takes place if they're the ones that opt out. Now, if the league opts out, then the players and the owners will both end up looking bad. Players always end up looking bad no matter how it works out. Seattle could be a big part of this. Now, Seattle is supposed to be in 2020, right? But Bill Daly said it could be 2021. So is the NHL getting out ahead of this? Because Seattle is all set to have Key Arena set for 2020. They want to be in the NHL in 2020. Is the NHL kind of telegraphing, we expect some kind of a lockout. Maybe we should wait a year. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Seattle. Now, if in December, when they have their big meeting and they decide to announce that Seattle's in the league, because Seattle's getting in, there's no doubt in my mind Seattle's getting in, will it be 2020 or 2021? And if it's announced for 2021, then that could be them saying, yeah, we're probably going to have a lockout. That's $650 million price tag now to get a team, which was $500 million for Vegas. That's a lot of money. The NHL doesn't want to jeopardize that, and they don't want to jeopardize Seattle in their first year. This tremendous success story in Vegas, they want to recreate that as much as they can. You can't do that coming out of a lockout. And then the final thing on the board here, what counts as revenue? This has been an argument between owners and players for decades. Decades. There's been arguments over what qualifies as revenue. There's been arguments over what owners put in the books as money they've made and money that's theirs. This is going to be a sticking point again. Now, if I honestly give you my opinion right now, I don't think we're going to have a labor stoppage in 2020. Because of Seattle, because it's the players that want to change things. Yeah, the owners would love to take some of the bonus money out, because that does make it so that the richer teams are capable of making these huge overtures to free agents and to players who are pending free agents. And I think they would love to take the contracts down to 6 years instead of 8. The fact is that the league is making a ton of money. It's doing very, very well. It's doing well at the gate as well. And ratings were pretty solid this past year for the NHL. And I don't think they would want a labor stoppage to potentially ruin that, because the other leagues have it figured out. Major League Baseball went through a very dark period after they canceled the World Series. The NHL's been very lucky that the fans flocked back after they canceled the Stanley Cup in 2005. They don't want to toy with that again. The 2012-2013 lockout, which resulted in that shortened season, honestly, it led to some of the best hockey we'd seen in a long time. But I think a shortened schedule will do that. I can't see them with all the money that's coming in and the new revenue and the new franchises. I just can't see the NHL deciding now is the time to be locking down and locking out. And for players, it's dicey. It's really, really dicey. And I don't know if it's going to work, because the union always seems to blink. In the staring contest between owners and players, it seems like players always blink. And that, I was in a union myself, and I always felt like the union was always the one that gave in. Even if we had leverage, the first thing the union would do is give up the leverage. And I'm like, wait, so we had leverage, now we have none. That's the nature of the game. The ownership is usually the ones that get their way, usually in union negotiations. It just ends up with the union making a few extra bucks. That's basically the way it works out. And I would expect that again here. So hopefully a year from now we're not talking about, okay, lockout's coming. But it is on the players' minds. TJ Oshie was asked about it, and he said if the vote was right now, he thinks there'd be a lockout. If the contract was up right now, because he doesn't think that the players and the owners are close. And this is before they've even started negotiations. So players, get a good read from the tea leaves and figure things out. And in their eyes, we could be looking at a lockout in 2 years. I really hope not. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Are you on the owner's side on the escrow? Are you on the player's side? How do you feel about these huge signing bonuses for that year? Does that mean Armageddon? Or is this just players just making sure they're covered just in case? That's a lot of money. That's over $250 million that's guaranteed to be paid out in the case there's a lockout. Well, there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. And let us hope that a year from now, we are talking about them not opting out of a deal, because the deal is supposed to expire in 2022. So even if they don't have a lockout in 2020, 2 years after, we may have a different story altogether. There you go. So again, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.